All right, sound good. All right, let's do this. Welcome to Rated Info Podcast, your new favorite video game podcast. It's Sunday, August 24th, and I'm your host, Drew Freeman. Joining me today are Rory Wood.
What's up, everybody?
And Sean Messler.
What's up?
It is just the three amigos this week. No super spectacular, important... what the heck? Sorry, I'm just totally got sidetracked by the chat. I don't know what's going on in there. All right, anyways. Just the three amigos. It's kind of a light week this week, so we're going to hang out and talk with you guys about some video games. Don't have any plugs here at the top of the show, so why don't we just hop into it. Sean, what you been playing this week, dude?
I have been playing Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition for the Xbox One.
I'm super jelly, man.
And I have no prior experience with the Diablo series at all.
Oh, seriously? This is your first time?
Yeah, I don't game on PC, and the PS2, the PS1 version was garbage.
Right, yeah.
So I didn't play that. And so yeah, it's my first one, and it's fucking awesome. Like,
dude,
I've always enjoyed action RPGs, you know, like starting with Secret of Mana and stuff. And this is just, it's just so much fun.
Yes.
And just the loot addiction is real.
Mm-hmm.
It is real. I get things and I want to try the newest thing. I'm always comparing what I got, and like, oh, it's so good. And I'm playing as a woman demon hunter. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny too, because I just kind of played it. I didn't have instructions. I rented it from Gamefly, so I didn't look at any instructions. I just kind of went in, and I'm at level 26, and I play with my buddy Nick. He jumps in my game, and he starts showing me things that I didn't even know were a thing, like elective mode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know. I was just using the classes as they were.
Yeah, that was one of the things they were kind of criticized for at the launch of the game. I don't think that was a feature at the launch of the original game, of Diablo 3 originally on PC. And then when they made that like available, they didn't do a very good job of like explaining it to people.
Know.
Yeah, just letting people know, like, hey, by the way, you can screw around and move all this stuff. And yeah,
so that changed up a lot of things for me, because I was like, really I can use like two of these things, and instead of just using one from each thing, which was fine. I was doing fine, but it just opens up a lot of things, and it's cool that you can get gifts. The first couple I got like two really good legendary weapons like right away, because buddies of mine were like sent them to me. So I had really good weapons for like the first like 10 levels of the game.
Yeah, it's always fun, like having like presents to unwrap.
And it was just like, and I don't know, it's just really cool. I'm learning about the crafting, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. And it scratches the itch, and it's addictive. It's so addictive.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's that formula that they perfected with the original game, and it had that at launch, at the launch of Diablo 3, but it took a lot of tweaking and kind of rebalancing that game to get it as good as it is now. It wasn't this good 2 years ago. But it got this good in like March, right before Reaper of Souls came out on PC, around the time they got rid of the auction house. So like what you're experiencing right now is probably one of the greatest action RPGs that has been molded into its best version. And they really did a great job of rebuilding that game for the console. So yeah, I'm jealous, because I was gonna download it, and I was gonna review it for We the Nerdy, and I was gonna just give it my all. But then I really kind of had to reassess like what games I was gonna spend money on this year. And since I already have Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls, and I play it with my wife on our laptops, I decided to keep it there. Because unfortunately, I can't move any of my PC progress up to my Xbox One, which was the deal breaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. One of the things I find really impressive, and I was talking about this earlier in the group, I love the fact that there's no load times. Like, you can go back and forth to town, like with the click of a button, and be right back where you left off. And you don't have to wait for this load time. Like, the only time I experienced a load time was between chapters 1 and 2, because I'm in chapter 2. I mean, that's incredible. Even when you start the game, it almost starts instantly. It's just, like that's what I want. That's more than anything is what I wanted from current gen consoles. I don't want to deal with fucking load times. And it's funny because before Diablo came out, I went back to playing Thief again, and I'm still trying to plug away at Thief, but something comes out and I have to play it for a review or something. I just want to get it because I rented it and I want to get it out, and I own Thief so I can kind of play it leisurely. Yeah. But the load times are atrocious. They are fucking atrocious in that game, and it's like, that sucks. Like, this was not optimized at all. Like, and then to see what they're doing, and obviously Diablo's not the most graphically taxing game, but
I mean, there's a lot going on there. They got a lot of physics and stuff going on in that game. Like, it's not graphically taxing because your camera's not zoomed in, but there's a lot of effects and things that are going on that, like, on my little dinky 15-inch laptop that we're recording this on, like, it can't even do half the stuff that you would see in your Xbox version. So there is a lot going on there, and it is impressive that I keep hearing about these like super quick load times and all that stuff. It's a cool game.
There's no load times. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, really?
It's instant. Yeah, there's no load times.
That's awesome.
Instantaneous. You press the button, and you are within a second. You are back where you left off, because you can teleport.
Yeah, you port to town.
So you can, and then you just go jump right back into the part of the level that you left. It's insane. It's so good, and it makes you want to play more because you know that you can. You know that it's not going to fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have to lose a lot of progress.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat asked, you mentioned your class, but I don't think you really talked much about your experience with the class or did you try other classes or anything, or have you just played the one?
No, character? I just jumped in. I looked because I looked for somebody who did ranged attacks that wasn't magic based, and
that narrows it down.
So I wanted to do so that left me with a Demon Hunter. So that was why I picked Demon Hunter.
Are you enjoying the Demon Hunter's skills and everything? Because to be honest, that's my go-to as well, like a ranged character, a bow character, and there's a lot about the Demon Hunter's skills that I was not a fan of when I was playing anything other than a Barb last year, and since launch I've pretty much stuck with Barbarians. So I just was curious what your experience with the skills, and now that you know about elective mode, like how you have them set up, you really enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean the skills that I have heard. She lays down traps.
Yes. Yeah.
I have the summon. So I'm still walking around. I got the bat summon, but right. I'm still walking around with the spider because I like that it can slow the enemies down by casting a web.
Yeah, crowd control is really good with a character like a hunter.
Yeah, and then so I'm using that. I'm using a turret. I'm using the dash, the sprint, like the. Where you press the button and she like flies away. So and then I have it set up so that when she flies past people, they're stunned for a second and a half.
Oh, that's cool.
So it gives me time to reposition. I haven't died too much. The most I died. My buddy jumped in. He was level 70, and supposedly it was supposed to scale, and it did scale. Like I went up to like his level.
Oh right.
Like I was as powerful as him, but the problem was he backed out. And I went back down to 23, but all the enemies stayed level 70, so I was dying in one hit.
Oh, that's weird.
And I was like, well, that sucks. Like, so... And then I had to quit and then start it over again.
So what you got to do, though, is to... apologies for the motorcycles. Yeah, I can't wait to move. I'm moving in a couple months, and I'm not going to be sitting over an intersection anymore. It's going to be the best thing ever. But, yeah, what you need to do is make a hardcore character. Because
fuck that.
That's sadness known only to a few people. Like,
fuck that.
I completed the whole campaign on regular the first time around with the hardcore. Jeez, these guys must just be going like back and forth or something. All right, so anyways, when your hardcore dies, like you cry real man tears. It's amazing.
No thanks.
All right, so anything else this week?
And just more Final Fantasy VI on my Vita.
Ah, okay. Rory.
Well, Sean's going to be shaking his head when I list off the games I've been playing this week.
Sweet. Are they all like fighting game, dance motion, racing simulators?
I have been playing Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, Super Mario Brothers 2, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker,
No, Super Brothers.
dude.
Super Mario Brothers 2 is my favorite Super Mario Brothers game.
Road Rash 3,
Oh
Lion
man.
King for the Super NES,
Yes.
Aladdin on the Genesis.
Oh, the Aladdin on
Great
the Genesis.
game.
Yeah, I love that game.
And I just got a new PC. It's like low level, really, but I just wanted to test out a game, figure out how to get it running. And Borderlands 2 was free on Steam for the weekend. So I played that a little bit, and that's my giant list of what I played. So, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I love that game.
You know, I can't remember anything about how the game plays, but I do remember playing that game when it came out.
It's super repetitive, but
It's
like
a side-scrolling
it's a
platformer, right?
Exactly, yeah. And you just go throughout the levels, kicking all these goons' asses, and you can spin around, you can kick sparkles off your shoe, you can go and do a little trick. You got a crazy lean power, but it's
Crazy
super,
lean power.
it's super basic, but it handles well and it's a lot of fun. It brought back some good memories.
Very cool,
Super Mario
man.
2, having fun with that. And I never got to play Super Mario Brothers Lost Levels, which was technically Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, before they decided it's too hard for Western audiences, so they made
Correct.
whatever it was, Toki Dori or whatever. And
Doki Panic, something.
close enough, yeah.
Sure.
What became the North American Mario 2. But I will say, the Lost Levels is fucking hard, man. It's so much harder than the original Super Mario Brothers game was. And that's that.
I think I'm pretty sure I played Lost Levels, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers 2 is my favorite Super Mario Brothers game.
I never
'Cause it's-
played Lost Levels.
It's so weird.
Yeah, 2 was... So I was, the dumb little kid when 2 came out, and it didn't even occur to me that this might not be a Mario game. I was just like, oh, this is a totally different direction. And then when 3 came out, I was like, oh, I guess they decided not to keep going in that direction. It's like, it's a totally different game again.
I like Super Mario Brothers 2, but I'm glad they
yeah.
went back. 'Cause Super Mario Brothers 3 to me it's up there, probably, if not my favorite, tied for my favorite 2D Mario game. I love Super Mario Brothers 3.
3 is easily my favorite Mario game ever. What if they made a Super Mario Brothers 2 2?
I would play it.
Yeah,
I would play it, but if I'm gonna see, it's like my most wished for sequel to a game that didn't get a sequel, although it started in production slightly and then it just never came to be. Is Super Mario 64 2? Like that's what I want.
Yeah,
the
you've
giant
talked about
castle
that a few
again,
times, right?
jumping into paintings. But yeah, that game was in development for like the 64 DD, like the disk drive that they had for the N64. And then the game never really came to fruition because the disk drive didn't take off, and that's that.
So, I have been playing BioShock. I got back into my progress today, and I'm getting there. I think you could call it the halfway point, but it's not really. As far as the plot goes, it's the turning point when you're like, what? When you've learned the secrets. So I think I have...
You know about Would You Kindly?
Yeah, I knew about it before I played. I mean, I have played it in the past.
That's way past the middle.
Okay, good. So I'm nearing the end.
Yeah.
Good.
That's like the third. That's like the beginning of the third act, I think.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And so I'm there, and I'm trying to wrap that up because I talked about this a couple episodes ago, leading up to Destiny and leading up to all these fall releases. I was trying to find stuff to kind of bide my time and get off my list, and finishing BioShock was one of those things. And then I was talking about replaying a lot of things because I was just going through stuff that I have still. But this week, Rockstar Games had a huge sale, and so I couldn't resist anymore, and I downloaded Red Dead Redemption last night for like $7. So I'll be playing that probably tonight after this for the first time ever. So that's fun.
I just don't understand what you did last generation. I
played
don't.
everything else pretty much. Like I even played LA Noire, man. Like I don't know how. I think so. People were talking about like, how did you miss this game? I was trying to go back and think about like what was out at the time. I want to say
Rockstar releases games in May.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but
nothing. Up until recently, I've never really been a like, hey, I'm playing it because it's new and I'm gonna finish that shit and truck on. I've never really been that kind of a gamer. I'm super selective just because when I was in the Army, especially as a young private, I would just buy everything. I bought I've spent thousands of dollars on iTunes, like just music, movies, DVDs, and stuff. So as I started getting older, and maybe not wiser, but just more aware, like self-aware of my spending habits, I started to look at video games as like, okay, I really need to know that I'm going to enjoy this game and then buy it. And I didn't like ignore Red Dead. I just put it on the list of like, yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. And the next thing I knew, it was like 3 years later, I'm like, what the hell? How did I miss this? And by then, I really felt like I might have just missed that time.
That
Like I wasn't, yeah, I
kinda
wasn't
sucked.
sure if because there's games like that, you know, like I've never played through like an old school Metroid game, and I think that I would get it, but I don't think that it would. I don't think I could enjoy it as much now as I would have then, and not that that's the same, but I was afraid that I missed that window, right? So I went ahead and downloaded it. I'm gonna play it tonight. Hopefully, I'll be telling you guys next week that I'm just like completely addicted to this game, because open world games are my favorite. Like those are my favorite types of games, the Elder Scrolls games, all the Grand Theft Autos and all that stuff. So I know that I'll probably enjoy this game.
Here's something that you should take into consideration. Rockstar with their open world games, for better or for worse, little nitpicks here or there, they get better with each game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's another thing I've been kind of nervous about,
So,
because they made a lot since then.
well, no. What did they make
Oh.
since then? They made
Max
they made
Payne.
one game. No, Max Payne is an open world game though.
Oh, okay. So one
like
more
GTA 5
one more
was the next-
GTA style game.
Yeah,
Okay,
so you got
yeah.
GTA 5. So a lot of the things that are cool in GTA 5, you're going to see like the seeds that were sown in Red Dead. You know what I mean? I feel like Red Dead is a better game overall than Grand Theft Auto 5. Story-wise, character-wise. The only thing is I feel like, and this is, I'm not the only one, thank God. There's Mexico. God damn it. Mexico has cool missions, but it feels like padding. It feels like they were just padding out the game, so they added a whole nother fucking country.
You know, but I had heard, so, you know, I've heard a lot about this game, so there's no such thing as like spoilers or anything for me as far as this game goes. I know about the ending. I know about all the, you know, all the little nooks and crannies there. But I had heard when, like, during, you know, Game of the Year and Game of the Generation conversations about Red Dead, that Mexico is where the game opened up. Or at least that's how I remember hearing it. I don't know.
No. Mexico's where it starts spinning its wheels, and then before it gets back on track and ends well.
It bloats it a little bit.
Yeah,
It gives it that San
bloat.
Andreas, that GTA San Andreas vibe of like, hey, there's a lot of great game here, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Individual missions in Mexico are
Yeah,
awesome. Like
yeah.
when you're just playing the missions, they're great. But the reasons why you're there and the story mission, it creates a huge ludonarrative distance because it's just so much like you don't feel like.
Like, why would he be doing this? That type
Yes.
of thing? Okay, got it.
The ride into Mexico on horseback, though, is probably one of the greatest moments in
You know,
game.
maybe that-
Just
no, that's
those
what it is.
few-
That's what it
those
is.
few moments right then, galloping in.
That's
just,
what I
oh
remember
my
hearing.
God,
I remember
like,
hearing like the introduction to Mexico as like a great moment in gaming. So
No,
maybe that's what it was.
That is true. That
Okay.
is absolutely true.
All right.
it's
Well,
so
I didn't
good.
hear the rest of that conversation as like, yeah, when you get there, it's great, and then you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? All right. So so games that I did play though include more Halo. Then Diablo. Yeah, I've been playing the crap out of Diablo 3 again on my laptop. I had a wonderful power leveling experience, so I don't have a long background with action RPGs. During the build up to Diablo 3, I got into Torchlight because it was the closest thing to Diablo that I could play on my MacBook at the time. And then I played the beta for Diablo 3 and was just like, holy shit, this game's amazing. But I didn't have that like long time background that most people that play Diablo now, they're like, yeah, I played it for like 15 years or whatever. So a buddy of mine who has probably 800 or more hours, probably more than that actually at this point, probably over 1,000 hours, I guess, since it's 2 years. He plays that game all the time. Like if he's not playing anything specific or new or whatever, he's playing Diablo. And he was doing power leveling for a bunch of people. Like, I guess he joined a community of power leveling, and he rolled me.
Because that's a thing.
They just go out and like, well, there's communities and clans and stuff in the PC version, which I'm really curious if that transferred over to the console version, but I don't know. He's in a clan that just goes around and like jumps into parties and like, hey, you want me to level you? Or, you know, like they just level you. So basically they do the rifts, the Nephilim rifts that you get in adventure mode. And I rolled a new demon hunter because I don't have any high level demon hunters because I got really burnt out on that stuff, but their skills are totally different now. So I wanted to have a high level demon hunter without all the work. He rolled me from 1 to 66 in an hour. And that it was fucking nuts, dude. I was like picking stuff up.
Happen?
So basically, I just need to stay near him and not die. And I just pick up experience by being around him. We were rolling TI 6, which is like the highest level of difficulty. And we were rolling through. He created a game, and basically I joined it. And so it was at his level. Like he's level 80 or 70 or whatever the cap is. And I was just rolling, like hanging out with him in like super high level dungeons, and he was just killing the shit out of everything, and I'm just picking stuff up and selling it, and my bars are just flying through. I would level, and I would like ding up, but it would ding like 6 levels. You would go from like, hey, you're level 11, and then we'd turn into a mission. It's like, you're level 20 now. I was like, holy shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was nuts. So did that. I feel like I was going to talk about another thing that's in the future, though. Obviously, Destiny's coming. I've made plans with Mike, the guy who recorded me doing the Ice Bucket Challenge today, to do Extra Life in October. Yeah, and we decided that we're going to do a 24-hour Destiny stream for Extra Life. So we started talking about that and like making plans for that. I can't decide if I want to do that as Rated M or We the Nerdy or what, so I might do like just a blanket statement of everyone that knows who I am, come join our team and contribute and all that stuff. I think that's it for gameplay. Rory was telling us about the games that he played, and you talked about the old stuff, but was that it? Is that all you did this week, man?
Yeah, except for Borderlands 2 on the PC, like when I was testing out the computer. It's not a game to like test the benchmarks properly, but my computer that I picked up...
Didn't it have the physics, the NVIDIA physics thing in it? With like enhanced graphics? Yeah.
In Borderlands? I don't know, it looks good. Like I cranked the settings and had it running at 60 frames, and like, I mean, it looks really nice, but I'm not going to be able to run like The Witcher 3 on high settings, that's fucking for sure.
Aw, boo.
But I picked this thing up mostly so that I can now use the Elgato and do the show that I want, and not have to be constrained by the limitations of the Xbox One Twitch app.
You should still just hold that stupid Xbox One headset in your hand when you do recordings.
Never. This Tuesday will be the last Xbox One stream, and then that's it.
My cat just destroyed my Xbox One headset. My the one that comes packed in. That's the second one that I've owned. He destroyed the first one, and then he just destroyed the second one. So I have decided I'm going to get Astro A40s sometime in the next month or so.
I have the...
fuck that kid.
And also don't keep them where the cat can get them, maybe?
Man, that's so impossible.
Stop listening. God damn it. I have the stereo headsets, and I love them. And they're not astronomically priced.
The Xbox ones, the $100 ones?
Yeah. No, they were $70.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they come with the...
they're wireless, right?
The adapter. I don't care if it's wireless. I'm holding plugged into the controller.
Yeah, but unfortunately these plug into the controller and into a like little station, whatchamacallit, an amp, a mix amp, and then that plugs into the PC, or I mean into the Xbox itself.
Yeah, you don't need. That's why I like this headset, because all it is the adapter. You plug it into the adapter that's plugged into the bottom of the controller, and you're still wireless.
Yeah, I was considering that. I was considering getting A50s for that reason, and I'm still kind of back and forth on that. It's $50 difference to get that wireless, so that it just plugs into the controller and that's it. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth, but I've decided to stop buying these little cheapy ones that the cat's just going to destroy. Because if I get some bigger, better ones, I'm going to keep them in a place where he can't get to them. Anyways, that is it for, I think, everything that we did this week. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about news?
Yeah, whatever news. Whatever news.
Let's see if we can find some news. Rory, you had a couple bits. Why don't we touch on those?
Yes,
They're
virus
tiny little
database
bits, so
has
nothing
been
to get
updated.
super in depth with. But if you're NHL hockey fan, obviously you've probably been keeping up on the news. And if not, this is the news. The EA Sports Hockey League will not be included in the next-gen version. So that's the 6 versus 6. Everybody takes a player. Sucker Punch, in other news, has just seen some layoffs. And it's not that sort of like, hey, the game's just finished in normal type layoffs. They've let a number of people go, but we don't know quite who it is. But apparently, potentially, from what I've read anyway, some of the guys that have been there since the early days have been let go as well. So curious to hear more about what's going on over at Sucker Punch. And if you're a Minecraft PS4 fan waiting for that game to show up, it has been delayed again. It failed testing, so it's probably coming this month. Yeah, so I don't know where that puts the Xbox One version.
Oh, that sucks.
And whatever else it's waiting to come on, but Minecraft failed its final testing at Sony, so that PS4 version is definitely delayed. Probably not coming this month, so
crazy.
Back to the PC or PS3 versions, or Xbox 360.
Interesting. All right, well, I think the main story in news that we have this week is this ongoing tale of PSN attacks that is now mutated. But the original story is, let's see, I'm trying to go back to the OG post because he's been updated so much. So I'm reading from Game Informer right now. PlayStation Network is currently down, and reports are pointing to a DDoS attack. And then there was an update. Sony is aware of the issue and is working to get PlayStation Network back online. Let's see, this is from around noon today, and it's like 8 o'clock now. And then there was another update. Sony has posted an update on its blog confirming that the network outage is due to a DDoS attack. Safety of users' personal information is fine, I guess. No information has been accessed. So then that turns into Xbox Live is now having issues, so reportedly.
Like hacked in as well, or just having its own back end?
So let's see. Xbox Live is currently experiencing sign-in issues, and those claiming responsibility for the earlier PSN attacks are taking credit. Now here's the weird part. This gets weirder.
I'm waiting for the weird.
Sony Online president tweets, "All is well regarding airplane bomb threat. FBI responds." So the original story the original story there is the group claiming responsibility for today's DDoS attacks on the PlayStation Network and others has issued a bomb threat to a flight carrying Sony Online president John Smedley, forcing his flight to divert. This is real life. Originally meant to fly from Dallas to San Diego, as tweeted Smedley earlier today, the flight has been diverted to Phoenix for security reasons, according to the tweets below.
Man, why are people messing with our video games?
I don't know, man. This is so dumb. Let's see. So those are the people that did, whoever they are. I haven't really caught like a group name or anything like that, but this whole thing is so fucking ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like, why? Who the fuck? All right, so is anyone having Xbox Live issues? Let's see. The good news is Microsoft is fully aware of the issue in its message. Xbox members, are you having a hard time signing into Xbox Live? We're aware of the issue and working hard to find a solution as quickly as possible. Thanks for being patient. In the meantime, please check back in a half hour for an update on the progress. This was posted a couple hours ago on GameInformer.com. So that's a thing.
I'm gonna try and sign in right now.
All right. Well, I mean, shit. Like,
Xbox
Sean, you're on yours
on.
right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
The issue does not appear to be entirely widespread. While I did have issues signing into Xbox Live with my 360, my Xbox One did not pose any problems. We've reached out to Microsoft for details. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but that's weird. What was the? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna check the chat and see if anybody's got any input.
It's on 360 only. Somebody's saying.
Yeah, and I could see that. There's probably just totally different architectures or whatever. But PSN, like we haven't heard that that's PS4 or PS3 only. Like that sounds like it's just PSN altogether. So I wonder if PSN is not as segregated as the 360 Live and the Xbox One Live.
It might not be, but I thought the 360 Live, I mean, they can't be that far off because it is just one Xbox Live still, right, across all the consoles.
Yeah, you still have your same account, all your same information carries over.
And just the fact that on Xbox One, I can still see when my Xbox 360 friends are signed in and what they're doing.
Yeah, because originally that wasn't the case on the 360, right? You weren't able to see what people were doing or if they were even on their Xbox One. It just showed that they were online, and then they retroactively patched that to show that they were actually on. I don't know. I thought this was weird. And again, I say it's the biggest story, and we really don't have much to say about it. That kind of indicates what kind of week it is. Not a lot going on.
No, everybody's just recouping after Gamescom.
I know,
catching up on what was going on.
Yeah, Gamescom really was a bit of an E3 2.0 because there was just so much shit flying at you from so many directions. And it wasn't necessarily on the same level. There was just so much going on, though, I feel like there was some of the stuff that came out of the week of Gamescom that we didn't talk about, though, because there was just too much going on.
I just went back and looked at a bunch of gameplay stuff. Go on, Sean. I'll touch on my thing in a second.
We didn't talk about EA at all.
Which part? Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, we really didn't get to hit on them. What do you guys make of the EA?
Yeah.
The BioWare thing. The BioWare game that they finally came out with.
We didn't talk about anything from EA, and I want to talk about my predictions because I finally got one fucking right.
Oh, yeah. Let's just do that then. Go for it.
All right.
Let's. So yeah, the thing I predicted that they were gonna reveal what the big teaser was, and they did, and it was Shadow Realms, and what goes up must come down, and that was my excitement for this game, because I'm excited for asymmetrical multiplayer and Evolve, but I don't want it in every fucking game.
What? If it's good in one thing, it must be good in everything, right?
No.
That's how video games work.
And plus, it's PC, so. So
wait, what?
Shadow Realms is for PC.
Only?
As far as I know, they have not announced anything else. They said it's a PC game.
Oh, I totally missed that. Wow.
It's also made by the people that made.
The Old Republic. This is BioWare Austin. BioWare Austin.
Right. So I wasn't excited about it. You know what really did surprise me? Well, I want to give EA a little bit of credit.
Okay.
Their show sucked.
Credit
but it wasn't
received.
as bad as E3. They actually showed up with games and showed games.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think the gameplay demos were entirely too long
games.
because they didn't have enough to show.
Yeah.
Like that Dragon Age demo was 15 minutes. That was entirely too long to demo a game. And that Sims 4, holy shit.
That stage presentation was just... It wasn't even...
bad.
It was so cringe-inducing that after a while my cringe went away because my face got tired from cringing. That was so bad.
It was bad. But I thought Battlefield Hardline's campaign mode looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
For everybody saying, oh, this is just a mod. That is not a mod. They are making an actual fucking game.
Yeah, I did hear that too. I actually haven't checked that out yet. So what is it about the campaign that stood out to you?
Well, first of all, it had good voice acting, which Battlefield had fine voice acting, but I didn't feel like there was much personality between any of the characters. Right from this one scene, you get a lot of personality from all the cast members that are in the scene. But also, it's open world. So it's got a lot of... what they showed was open world, so it's like Far Cry, where you have the enemy encampments. So and you're a cop, so you can choose not to kill anybody. You can arrest people. So you go up and then put them down and then cuff them. So that's kind of cool. And then you can approach it any way you want. If you want to shoot everybody, you can. If you want to go stealth, you can. So I think that's pretty cool that they're giving an open-ended kind of variety of the way to tackle the environment and the level. And it looks gorgeous. So I'm actually, that game went from 0 hype to pretty high on my hype level.
Word. So that was your new BioWare IP being shown prediction. And then you had two more. You had Until Dawn being a standout title. Do you believe that that is not the case?
No, I think Until Dawn was for me personally, and this is obviously going to be subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective. Yeah.
I think that was the game that I was most excited for from the entire press conference, all of it.
Yeah.
But that's because it looks like it scratches the niche that I want. It's a slasher movie meets Heavy Rain,
and they definitely took it in a better direction than I was.
Yeah, and it looks a lot better. It's graphically, they redid all the graphics. It looks a lot better. So I'm only going to give myself half a point for showing Until Dawn and it being improved over what was originally shown 2 years ago.
Okay.
And what
then
was
your
my
last,
other?
New IP, just new IP. I didn't even have any context there.
That was, I believe, for Microsoft, and
yes, it was. Yeah.
I don't think that happened. So
no, I don't think so either.
They didn't show any new IP.
Not
that was their own.
Yeah, not like a first party Microsoft studio. Well, wait, what was the Scream thing? The ride.
Joyride?
Scream Ride? Yeah, Scream Ride. All right, so then I guess I win. I guess I get 2.5 points.
Because that's first party, right? That was Microsoft.
Yeah, that
Studios.
is first party, and that's a new IP. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I was right.
Good job, Rory. You have the Halo 5 beta trailer or gameplay from Halo 5 beta. Kind of. They had they have a trailer that is called the Halo 5 beta first look. So I guess
I thought my prediction was that like we would just see what in some sort of way, even if it was a sizzle reel or a quick glance, we would see Halo 5 multiplayer. And in a way, we did. We did. They kind of showed the graphics engine. They showed some of the levels.
They showed assets. They showed midship.
They didn't show any gameplay though.
No, but they showed in-game stuff. Like they showed midship in-game. They showed the character models standing around itching their butts and stuff. And I mean, he can get like a half point on that one.
No, I'll take a point.
Yeah,
I'll take the point.
You'll take the 1 point. All right, because your Banjo-Kazooie and your Gears did not happen.
Not at all. wasn't even close, man. There wasn't even.
No one even stood on stage and thought about Gears of War.
Oh God, no. It makes me sad, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
EA
now I feel like that's not gonna be a thing for Microsoft or Sony. There, you know what I mean? Like where they're gonna announce a huge AAA.
No. Yeah, I didn't.
Totally.
Which is good because I don't want E3 to not be E3.
Dude, next E3 is going to be jam-packed. It's going to be ridiculous. All right, so Matt Danovic was on our show when we made our predictions, and he predicted more Uncharted and possibly multiplayer. Couldn't have been further from the truth. No one even said the word Uncharted except for Microsoft when they were talking about why they made Tomb Raider exclusive. It's sad that Microsoft were the only people to reference Uncharted during the week of Gamescom. Let's see, King's Quest. He totally nailed that there. I have a feeling he probably knew that already.
Wait, what was? Didn't he say? Wasn't there a thing that he told us to come back and watch? Next day.
That was the Call of Duty 2 gameplay, and him and Apple Fisher from Machinima talked over a gameplay that they had recorded the previous week of Call of Duty multiplayer. And that's why he was saying like people in the comments are going to go crazy because it's Call of Duty. So we kind of knew that was coming, but I don't think we realized that we were going to because what he talked over wasn't stuff from their presentation. It was like Machinima and the guys went and got their hands on Call of Duty the previous week in an event in California, so that they could record videos to post immediately after the big Call of Duty briefing on Monday. So technically he wasn't making that up, but I don't think it was anything that we were like, ooh, look at that. And then he also said that we were going to get a Morpheus release window. Good thing no one mentioned Morpheus at all. I don't think we're going to hear about Morpheus until what is it?
No, they talked about
though.
Morpheus. They talked about Morpheus.
Did they really?
On stage, yeah. They just didn't give a release date.
What did they talk about on stage?
They mentioned Morpheus as part of the
ecosystem.
Yeah, and how they're going to have it was like a blurb. It was in this one little section where they were talking about tech that they're bringing to advanced games. And they said that Morpheus was going to be part of that. But that was all they said about Morpheus.
So I made some predictions, and they were all terrible. I predicted Doom gameplay. Nope. I predicted Mirror's Edge. Nope. And then I said that Halo 2 Anniversary was going to be playable, which we already knew, but I said I was talking about the campaign, and they did not even talk about the campaign, so I was 0 for 3.
Wow. Didn't they show a little bit of the campaign?
No. Not,
yes, they did.
Not gameplay.
Yeah, they showed gameplay from the campaign. They showed him fighting.
I'm sorry. I specifically I meant playable as in like on the show, like people were going to play a slice of the campaign. They did show Delta Halo. That was really weird though, because they started to show it and then they cut away from that so fast. I was like, wait, what? That's it? Like, I mean, that was like maybe 30 seconds. But they did show Delta Halo. And then that led into the Halo channel announcement, which was pretty cool. So that was the predictions. Was there any other games? So there was stuff. I felt like there was more news that kind of came out last week, that or not last week, but the week of Gamescom that we didn't get a chance to talk about. PlayStation sales. Holy shit, PlayStation sales.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Holy shit.
We talked about that with Marcus last week.
The 10 million?
Yeah, and here
we mentioned it. It wasn't really.
No, but there is a correction to be made though. Like last when Marcus was on, I think he mentioned he said PlayStation was outselling Xbox One 3-1, and I think a couple of us were like, yeah, and then we went over that, but that's not really true. It's closer to 2-1, not 3-1. Just a little correction from that episode.
So, 10 million units is a lot of freaking units. Like, that's insane. That's crazy.
In that short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like 10 million is whatever. Here, okay, I just would like to remind somebody that Don Matrick once said that the first 1 to 10 million wins the generation.
Yeah, but, you know, it's funny that, like as much as that is relevant now, it's also... Like, if I were Sony, I wouldn't want to quote Don Matrick on anything. I wouldn't be like, that guy was right.
That's true.
That's not the guy you want to be like, yeah, man, remember that time that Don Matrick said anything worth of anything? Like, fuck that. No, thanks. No, they're doing crazy. I'm really curious. Since we're talking about sales and we've kind of drifted off of news, I would love to bring up something that I've been repeating to my friends this week that I wanted to say on the show, but I had no idea how to fit it in. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think Smash Brothers is coming out for the Wii U in 2014.
No, it's not.
It's supposed to. It doesn't even have a date yet, and that's why I started thinking about this.
I thought what they had been saying, and we talked about this on a previous episode, because Nintendo's been saying holiday or winter. I think they've been saying winter.
Well, yeah, I think they did go super broad and say winter.
Yeah, and like winter technically starts like closer to the end of December or something. I can't remember when the first date is, when it kicks in.
According to Google, winter is from Sunday, December 21st of 2014 to Thursday, March 19th of 2015. And you can set a reminder if you want Google to remind you of that.
So I feel like Nintendo's always been kind of tiptoeing around with the Wii U version of that Smash, and sort of their broad statement of it coming winter of 2014, which actually extends into 2015 in a way. I don't see it coming out.
Well, winter of 2014 already happened, so.
I know,
well,
right?
you know what I'm saying though. I just don't see them releasing that game a few days before Christmas, and launch in time for everybody to pick it up and buy it.
It was supposed to be. It and Mario Kart were supposed to be the saviors of the Wii U.
Dude, nothing is going to be the savior of the Wii U. I wish people. Okay, let me paint a little picture for you that people seem to forget.
Paint it.
Okay,
paint it with your Wii U stylus onto your gamepad.
Mario Kart Wii sold 35.5 million copies on the Wii U. I mean, on the Wii. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have, if you're saying the install base is 100 million, that sold 35.5%. To 35.5% of users. Smash Brothers sold just under 12 million. So if that's 12% of the install base. Now you can extrapolate that and kind of look at the numbers. Right now you're looking at about 42% of the Wii U owners, if you're going by the 6.7 million install, have bought Mario Kart. Even if you add a little bit more to Smash Brothers is going to probably, if you're lucky, going to sell about 12, maybe 15%. Like Smash Brothers, if Mario Kart didn't do it, it sure as hell isn't going to be Smash Brothers. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's way more niche. And if you're looking at 100 million people own the console and 12 million people bought the game, that is a niche game for that install base.
Yeah, see, I agree. And I was trying to explain. So my friend Jason that I was trying to explain this to is a bit of a Nintendo apologist. I mean, he acknowledges that, Nintendo is not doing that great, but he was also trying to, make the point of like, Smash Brothers is a big name. It's a big game for the Nintendo brand. But I was trying to say, like, I mean, him and I both worked at GameStop for a couple years together, and I was trying to explain to him, like, dude, you know who's going to come in and buy Wii U's this year? It's the parents that don't have the money or don't want to buy the big fancy, PlayStation or Xbox for the kids, and they're going to be like, I want the new Nintendo, and they're going to look at the wall of games at GameStop and say, give me the Donkey Kong and give me the Mario and give me that Wii U, and that's it. They're not going to look and be like, oh, I want the Smash Brothers fighting game for my kid.
Smash Brothers, here's the thing.
People who want Smash Brothers already own a Wii U.
That's what I'm saying. Smash Brothers is not going to sell units.
No.
The Mario Kart barely sold units. Like, this is not going to sell units. This is the game that was supposed to... If you look at all their best sellers on the Wii, it was Mario Galaxy. I'm not including Wii Play or any of that bullshit.
Wii Fit was back in with the... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to count any of that stuff. I'm talking about standalone disc-based games. Mario Kart sold the most. Mario Galaxy sold the second most. Zelda and Smash Brothers, and they sold much less.
Hell, even Metroid. I mean, look at Metroid. Like, people are clamoring, like, Metroid will come back and save the Wii U. I'm like, no, it's not. You know what saves a console that needs help? Third parties. You need third party support. You need big names that transcend your own little brand, and you need stuff that will grab people from the hallways and the aisles of GameStops and malls and pull them into the game store and say, oh shit, I want that game. And that's what Wii Sports was. Like, Wii Sports sold the Wii because people who don't know what a Metroid is bought a Wii because of Wii Sports.
Exactly.
And because they saw it they saw it on Jimmy Kimmel and they were like, oh shit, I want that. You know what I mean? So now with this, here, see where I'm going with this. Now with, Ubisoft saying, hey, we're not going to sell mature titles anymore. Call of Duty has been announced to not be on the Wii U. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto is not going to be on the Wii U. Name another big game that's coming out in the next few. Like, Destiny's not going to be on the Wii U.
Batman won't be on the Wii U.
Yes, Batman, all that stuff. Everything that's coming out in the next, 6 months that is worth anything.
Assassin's Creed's not even going to be on the Wii U.
Exactly. So, and Watch Dogs isn't even out yet, and that is the next big title for the Wii U that's not made by Nintendo. And, what I'm saying is, all of these third parties have already written it off, and I understand that Nintendo sells as a brand based on their first party titles, but the platform itself needs to succeed before any of those games really matter. I mean, if you have only 6 or 8 million Wii U's out there after a couple years, and you release the next big Zelda game, you just released the worst selling Zelda game in the history of Zelda. You know what I mean? Because no one has the platform, and no one's going to go buy it by that point. So it's really scary.
This is the thing. This is what drives me crazy, because it's the Nintendo apologists or they'll sit there and go, I only buy Nintendo games for the Wii. Well, you don't have a choice. It's not like you're sitting there going, I never use the Wii as my main console. Yeah, because you haven't had a choice for decades. It hasn't been ever since they fucking boned Sony on the fucking disc deal, and Sony innovated and put out the PlayStation. They left Nintendo in the dust, and Nintendo has been they're not even playing catch up. It's like they've just resigned to the fact that they are not going to. The Wii was a fucking fluke. It was an anomaly. If you look at the trajectory, and now, okay, it fucks up the trajectory, but every Nintendo console has sold less than the previous one except for the Wii. Now we're back on track for the Wii U to sell less.
Is that
than the
true
GameCube.
Between the NES and the Super NES, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was curious if the Super NES was the peak or not.
No, it's been every single console has sold less than the one before it.
And to be fair, I don't necessarily think that is a statement of quality for Nintendo. I think it's a statement of quality for Nintendo's competitors. I think Nintendo did bring back the market, and it saved the console industry. However, because it did that, it made it a viable business, and other companies got involved, and now competition was bred, and that's why we have such great games outside of Nintendo. But unfortunately, Nintendo, like you said, has been pretty steadfast in doing their own thing, and eventually that has just spread so far from what the norm is for the industry that your quirky outlier like motif can only work so much until it's hurting your business just completely. So yeah, I just wanted to have that little Nintendo rant because I thought it was a good time to fit that in. Next week we're going to be recapping PAX, so I think this is, and then what is it? The week after that is going to be the week leading up to
When's
Destiny.
TGS?
Okay, just to give you a point of reference, the NES sold 61.91 million units.
Yeah.
The SNES sold 49.10 million units.
Oh, okay. All right.
So every single platform they've had has sold less except for the Wii, and the Wii doesn't count because it's casual. And I'm sorry, I know that pisses people off, but it's the casual fans that bought it that just said, fuck it, it's a novelty. They stopped playing it. The Wii sales, and this is the other thing, I think it's entirely feasible that by the end of the Xbox 360 and PS3's production run, they will have matched or come very close to selling 100 million units. They're both at 80 million apiece.
Yeah.
Over 80 million. And in 2
Wait,
years...
is the 360 still keeping up? I know that the PS3 passed it up, and I wasn't sure if it was still keeping up.
No, the
with sales.
360's... I mean, in the United States, 360 is still outselling PS3.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
But it's like they're both going to hit probably around 95 million by the end of its run, and that makes Nintendo's 100 million seem far less impressive.
Yeah, for real. You're right, and not to mention that the attach rate for the software and just software sales in general did not really support that mega hardware install base. So in other words, there were more dusty Wii's like laying around in people's closets, and all those peripherals just laying around collecting dust or being thrown out the window, and less people were playing their Wii's by the end of that run than we'll be playing on the 360. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people playing on the 360 in the next 2-3 years, So I don't know, we'll see. And I'm sure that, the PS3 is probably going to have the same success rate as the PS2 in emerging markets that it did, that caused the PS2 to have like an over 10-year lifespan and be selling games up until, what was it, last year? So I agree that the Wii was definitely a fluke. I'm nervous, right? My wife is a huge Zelda fan. We've established this. She's got a Triforce tattoo. She still plays, her GameCube to this day. And for the Zelda game to come out on the Wii U and like not do well and like be, a really, I don't know, like a sales disappointment or have potential to be a sales disappointment, it makes me nervous for the future of the Zelda franchise, which makes me sad for her,
No, I don't
think you have to worry about the future, man. That game, because the what you got to worry about is the game going to be good, and it's probably going to be awesome. And even if it doesn't sell great, and Nintendo eventually, like, maybe they cut Wii U short 3-5 years, maybe. I'm guessing they go 5 years still. Whatever they have on their next console, hopefully they put good R&D into it, make something powerful, and then Zelda once again will be there. It'll be good, etc., etc., etc.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty big iffy, wishy thing. Like, do you see a 2018 Assassin's Creed being on the next Wii U or the next Wii product? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, I'm hoping it's not going to be called Wii anything on the next product. But yeah, I think when Nintendo comes out with their next console, I think they will have learned a lesson, and I think they're still going to follow their own path and have some sort of interesting control design, something that they're trying to bring new to the table, but I think it will have the innards that everybody wants, something with a little bit of juice that will be able to compete with its competitors for sure.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Roy, and this is the same thing. Are they going to do what they did with the Wii U and release a fucking system that's comparable to the PS4 and Xbox One that late in the cycle when they're already very close to releasing or announcing another console? Like,
I think what they'll do is they'll either, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are going to have like a pretty good run, so I think they'll come out probably midway into that generation and just have a beast that's more powerful than the Xbox One, and then we'll get a few more. I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to be able to handle what people are going to be throwing at it for sure.
I don't think that this generation is going to last like it did the last time. I think we're going back to a 5-year cycle.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I totally think we're going back to a 5-year cycle.
The thing that makes me nervous about that, though, is the price of the consoles where they are right now. I mean, like they didn't start out, $599 but they started out relatively high. And then in 5 years, where are they going to be? Like, are you think these prices are going to drop sharper than they did last time around?
Not if it keeps selling the way they. I mean, the Xbox will, but not the. I mean, Sony can keep. Sony's going to charge $400 until they can't anymore.
Actually, that's a good point too. Now that you mention it, the number of sales. Like, what if this generation continues to sell like hotcakes, and then it eclipses the previous generation in record time, and then Microsoft and Sony turns around and says, "And here's the new box." Most of the industry. Excuse me, most of the consumers are going to be like, wait, no, fuck you, I just bought the last box. Like, what? I'm not going to get another box. And then we see a generation off to a really slow start.
I don't think so, because the PlayStation 2 sold astronomically well, and it's still, and then this generation started off slow, but it ended with them two selling over 80 million. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be
over 80 million in like 8 years. Well, it's 7 years.
8 years because they stretched it out. But I mean, the PlayStation 2 had a lot of significant price drops. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. I mean, if I don't know what the numbers were in 2005 when the Xbox 360 came out, or in 2006 when the PS3 came out, but it wasn't where they were now. They still kept selling that thing. You know what I mean? It's like it became like $99. In like 2008, you could buy a PlayStation 2 for $99.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it was a lot of people's, for their kids, their first console, so I could see that all coming the way. My only concern, and this is the problem with everybody so desperate to get into this digital fucking bullshit future, is that the systems become more and more complicated. You know what I mean? The PlayStation 2, you could just plug it in, plug it to your TV, and your kid could play it. They didn't need updates. They didn't need to do all this stuff. It didn't need an internet connection.
Yeah, it wasn't coming in so hot. Like, it wasn't a rushed product.
Just in general, just the basic needs of the system. They need constant updates, regardless. Like, Xbox 360 had them, and PlayStation 3 had them. Like, it's just like they become more and more complicated, that there isn't that entry level console for kids to play, for parents to get their kids, where like the PlayStation 2 was, you know what I mean, or the original Xbox was. So it's just the more complicated it gets. It's like the game industry. Like, I'm 42. I've been playing games since I was a little kid, playing on the Atari 2600. So I've gone with the progression. But there's a lot of people that I know we sit there and say, oh, well, everybody's tech savvy now, but not everybody really is. And they might be moving where the adults are moving, but the kids are still going to be, there's people there. Here's just something that I know from working at GameStop. Poor people like video games too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I worked
so
in the
they
ghetto,
would buy
man. It was bad.
They buy their kids a PlayStation 2, and they buy them used games so they can play on the PlayStation 2, and their kid gets to play video games. You know what I mean? But when we start getting into these more complicated systems, it's going to be hard for the people who aren't educated. Like, unless all 80 million people are like adults and they have kids and they go, I want my kids to play video games, and they help them. But I don't think that's always the case.
So, Rory, what's your take on, if this is a 5-year cycle and then we move on to another set, do you think...
I don't... So yeah, sorry, go on.
All right, so my overall fear, and I just want to get your take on this fear. My fear is that a 5-year cycle, after such a long cycle, the broader masses are going to react negatively to that. So they're not going to hop on the next gen, but they're going to stick with the Xbox One and PS4, and the next gen is going to be off to a slow start, and people are going to be, freaking out about that. Maybe developers make a slower adoption than they are this time around to the next system, which people are already complaining about the slow adoption of new generation hardware already here. We only have like The Witcher and Batman coming to next gen consoles. whereas Destiny and all these other games are going cross-gen. Like, do you think it'll be a slow start, or do you think there'll be a negative reaction, or people will just be rolling with it?
I think there might be there'll be a negative reaction between a certain group of people for sure. Those of us, Sean included, because he's been gaming for so long. Like, we grew up with 3 to 5 year cycles. 5 years was sort of like the max, and we get a new console, and we knew it was coming. I thought this gen felt pretty long, but for the record, I don't think this current gen right now with Xbox One and PS4 is going to be 5 years. I'd be okay with it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be
why don't we qualify that, Sean?
At least 7 years.
Yeah.
Why don't we qualify that with? Are we saying that? Okay, all of the consoles came out in 2000. Well, all the consoles that matter came out in 2013. So,
yep.
In 2018, we will see new hardware on stores. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I believe. I believe we will see the launch of new consoles after a 5-year cycle. Like, I don't, because the thing is,
on Nintendo's front, maybe. I don't know about Microsoft and Sony.
No, I definitely think no. Nintendo can't wait till 2018 to put out a new console. They need to put out a new one by 2016 if they have any hope of staying in this fucking race at all, ever. But I think
maybe they just sit this one out.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible they could. But even I know everyone talks about the DS selling really well, but the DS sales have kind of stalled too. But that's another topic. But here's the thing: with the next generation. Now, here's the problem. We now have a fucked up sense of perspective now because Sony sold 10 million units in 9 months.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
So
so anything's going to be considered a slow start compared to this generation.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that Sony came out of the gate so hot and running so fast that anything when they launch is going to be like, oh, well, and then this is going to start the whole consoles are doomed conversation again. Like, oh, consoles are doomed because, well, no, I mean, these things are anomalies. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. I want to stress this, that people seem to forget, or maybe they're young and they don't understand, but PlayStation has dominated consoles they dominated PlayStation 1, they dominated PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. They started slow, but it's like everyone has a short-term memory. They started off with a shitty price.
Yep.
A year later, and they closed the gap. You know what I mean? They closed the gap, and now they're pushing that momentum of them dominating again. Like, last generation was an anomaly all the way around the board. You know what I mean? Like, Wii selling 100 million, Sony starting off slow. You know what I mean? Like,
Xbox is doing
it's hard to gauge
well.
Xbox. It's hard to gauge Xbox, but judging by the slow sales now, it looks like that was an anomaly too, because original Xbox sold 25 million, then last Xbox 360 sold 80 million, but now we're seeing that it's being outsold 2-1. And another thing that people bring up when they talk about how Xbox, and I've mentioned this before, is that Xbox is selling better than 360 did at this time, but the 360 at this time was coming off of an install base of 25 million. So it took a while for them to build a new audience. Now that new audience is there, and the sales aren't matching what Sony's doing.
A question to kind of steer off of the history lesson and into maybe a more directed question. Do you feel like a large portion of the 100 million people that bought a Wii, just assuming a big portion of that, wow, I don't know what that was. That was a dog. Oh, okay. Just assuming that a large portion of those people owned a 360 and a PS3, which is very possible.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of these people coming to the PS4 might be people who got into gaming because of the Wii and now they want to get the new thing? Like, is that where they're going instead of to the Wii U?
No, I think a lot of the people that went and had a Wii U went to Candy Crush and stuff like that on mobile phones.
A lot of people that had the Wii, you mean?
The Wii.
That's what I meant. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Everybody's mom picked it up, right? Like, my mom bought a fucking Wii. She doesn't play video games, and she bought a fucking Wii for Wii Sports Bowling, and then 2 months later, it collected dust. Like, a huge percentage of those Wiis that are out there. Like, it's sold astronomically with insane marketing, but most of those Wii U's are fucking collecting dust.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like that was a casual market, and they went to
Or
where
the
the
Wii,
next
sorry.
casual thing
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I got you.
And I know a lot of people say the marketing's weird for the Wii U, and I'm like, yeah, it is weird because the casual market doesn't understand video game consoles. So the casual market went on to something else.
Yeah,
Like that's the
yeah.
thing. Like the reason why I feel like the reason why the PlayStation is selling so well is because a lot of 360 people went to PS4, and a lot of
Because of
people
that
do what
messaging. They just got the
yeah.
messaging right.
Well, not only did they get the messaging right, but Microsoft got it wrong. So that was like
Yeah, it's true.
you have if Microsoft was hitting all the right notes, they would be in a better position too. You know what I mean? And I think it would be a much more level playing field. So by Sony doing right and them
Definitely.
doing wrong, they pulled away in two different directions.
Yeah.
So then you have people jumping ship. And here's the thing: PSN is much better. A DDoS attack notwithstanding.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of those people that were playing online on Xbox 360, if their friends went and bought PS4, that's where they went. You know what I mean? They're all like, oh, let's just get Call of Duty on PS4. You know what I mean? So it's just like that's the thing. I mean, it's just this weird thing. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm not a business analyst. I'm just looking at the numbers and just looking at it and going, like, as somebody who's really, really, really loves this industry and loves studying it and seeing all the
we're a
weird
little more in
things that
touch with
happen
it than most people. Like we're at least like paying more attention to it than I think the average person is. I was at the mall a couple weeks ago, and literally I heard someone be like, "Yeah, man, the Xbox One looks great, but it doesn't play used games." Like that was
Yeah,
2
man.
weeks ago. Are you serious?
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, well, here's the thing. And at first, I took this as a grain of salt because of where it was coming from. But now, when you think about it, in hindsight, it makes sense. I saw this a post on NeoGAF where the guy was saying he was in. It wasn't the thread. It was just a mention of a post, in the many
comment,
posts.
yeah.
And he said he was in a GameStop, and a Microsoft marketing person was coming up to them and asked them. This was right before they put the "Did you know?" Remember? I don't know if you remember
I
that
remember
marketing.
that. Yeah,
They said, "Did you know that the Xbox One plays used games?" Like, yeah, and he asked them all these questions. He knows because he's if you're on NeoGAF, you know.
Yeah.
You're like us, and I'm not, just we follow this shit. So
Right.
he knew all the questions, but they were asking, and they said to him, "We're just trying to figure out what is, why the Xbox isn't selling as well as we had hoped." And like maybe that last part wasn't true, but that "Did you know" campaign came out right after that happened. So
Yeah,
I
I
feel
remember
like
that.
the thing is, the major networks covered the first message.
Yep,
They didn't
and then that
cover
was
the
it.
second message.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
just like any other news cycle. Like if a politician gaffs up and makes some racist remark on live television, when he goes and corrects himself and spends like a week of community service and blah blah blah, Fox has already moved on. Like
Yeah.
anybody has already moved on. Nobody gives a shit. Like when you
So he's
step
still
in
the guy
shit-
that made that stupid
Yeah,
comment.
when you step in shit, everybody sees you step in shit. They don't see you like, change shoes into like the coolest shoes you've ever seen. And they're like, look at the guy's shoes now. No shit on those shoes. Like, nah, that's the guy that stepped in shit. We saw it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like that.
And that's the thing. Like, you're absolutely right. There are people. I was listening to Giant Bomb a while ago before Vinny left, and Vinny was saying he went home for, excuse me, for the holiday, and they were saying that his family was still saying the same things. Like it's the console that doesn't play used games, and it's like
You got to be
man,
connected to the internet, and you got to sign a contract with NSA, and
yeah, and that's the thing. They fucked. I mean, it sucks because I don't want Microsoft to fail. I don't want the Xbox One to fail.
Sure.
I love my Xbox. I love my PlayStation. I always want to have two consoles. I always want to be able to play the exclusives on both consoles. But I'm also kind of a fan of train wrecks, and this is a train wreck that I just can't see what they can possibly do to recover from it, because there's so many things. PlayStation outselling it 2-1. And then you have the terrible reveal where I was against it and a bunch of people were against it. I don't have these. I'm not one of these people that's like so ridiculous to be like, well, they did it once, they're going to do it again. Well, they didn't. They're not doing it with this, so I'm going to get this. When they do it, then I won't be on board. But the Xbox One is now where I want it to be. And the thing is like, but apparently that didn't get through to everybody.
no,
You know what I mean?
no, it didn't.
And I have a feeling that a lot of that made people jump ship. And it's like, well, what is Microsoft going to have to do? Because I don't want to see them become in a weak
Make Tomb Raider
position.
exclusive to the Xbox One.
I don't think that's going to help.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but
all right.
word of mouth. The longer the console's out, I know it sucks. Like Drew said, like 2
It'll
weeks
even
ago,
out, though,
you're
I
still
think.
hearing stuff. But yeah, like word of mouth will come. More people will pick it up. People will hear from their friends, and hopefully, it will eventually.
I don't think this is gonna continue to be a like schoolyard stomp. I really don't. I think the PlayStation's in a great lead, and I think it'll probably keep the lead all the way through the generation. But that gap will close, and I think it'll close to like maybe a 2 to 5 million unit difference.
It's going to be an interesting holiday. Microsoft's got some good bundles in North America and in Europe. They're launching in a bunch of different countries.
Really going to be huge.
And and you got your. I'm assuming there's going to be a Master Chief Collection bundle. We've got the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare North American bundle coming with custom sound effects, and you got the Sunset Overdrive bundle with the white Xbox. There's lots of stuff coming. I think it's going to be a good holiday for Microsoft.
So, speaking of holidays, we're gonna wrap this with. I just wanted to touch on, since I feel like we're not quite at the like calm before the storm, but this is a good time as any to kind of treat this as a calm before the storm. Look at the holiday season, like one last look before it starts actually happening. Because right after, like next week, we're going to talk about everything from PAX. And after that, I think is like the week leading up to Destiny. And as far as I'm concerned, as soon as Destiny comes out, like the ball has already started rolling at that point. What do you think is going to be like the trend this holiday? Like come Black Friday, what are we going to be seeing everybody buying? What is going to be the hot stuff? So our thing, yeah. I mean,
isn't it always
all
the
of the
same
games.
every year? Isn't it like TVs and consoles and like it's all the things?
No, I mean just games wise.
Rory with his far-reaching net.
All of back to school stuff's gonna go really well
because this is a back to school podcast. What the fuck?
Christmas trees are gonna go flying off the shelves.
Oh, I guarantee. And Christmas lights too. Don't forget about the Christmas.
Invest in Christmas lights right now, guys.
I mean, this is early, but I think the two biggest selling games of the holiday are going to be Call of Duty and Destiny.
You think so?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, and it makes sense too. Just look at how many freaking consoles are out there now. It's coming on PS3, PS4, Xbox One. Like both those games. Oh no, Call of Duty might not be, right? Is Call of Duty only on Xbox One?
No, they did it across. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So I mean, they're hitting a massive pool of people.
I think Call of Duty, and that's the thing. Like I would say Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed, maybe the brand will be, but because you have two.
Yeah, the franchise
games,
is going to do really well. Like they kind of. They covered the table, I guess, in that way.
I think Master Chief Collection statistically is going to have one of the highest attach rates in a sense. Like for how many Xbox Ones are out
That's a
there,
good way to
I
put
think
it.
we're going to see a huge attach rate for Xbox One owners picking up the Master Chief Collection.
So we don't think this is going to be like the death knell for Call of Duty. You think it's going to be considered a resurgence, or because all right? So
wait.
do you think Destiny's going to like bite any of Call of Duty's sales?
No.
No.
Call of Duty. For everybody talks shit about Ghosts, it's still in the top 10.
Selling games, yeah.
No, it's being reported in the top 10 of NPD still today, it's still selling really well today, which is kind of crazy.
It's Ghost is supposedly the worst one, and by all accounts it is, as somebody who's played all the Call of Duties, and it's still in the top 10. Call of Duty's going nowhere. It might have sold, this one might be a hiccup, and I do believe that there's a huge part of it is the transition. You know what I mean? Like you splitting the user base because some of their friends went and got, some of the people they play with went and got an Xbox One, some people got a PS4, some people got, you know what I mean, stayed on 360 and PS3, so I don't... Now with this one going all in, and plus I also feel like this one has people hyped again. Like even people who have.
I was just gonna say, Sean, I'll make a prediction that because I think the last Call of Duty didn't sell as well as the one beforehand. Am I correct?
No. Yeah, you're correct.
Right. So I think that trend though will be bumped this year. I think this Call of Duty is gonna sell extremely well, and whether you want to call that a resurgence or whatever, like it's going to outsell the last Call of Duty pretty well, I think.
To talk about games that are not exactly down our alley, I feel like Disney Infinity is going to do some big things with the Marvel release. I mean, I think that's going to be such good timing. They have to have Guardians of the Galaxy involved in that Disney Infinity. And when you have kids, you know, putting stuff on their Christmas list and stuff, and they see posters of Disney Infinity and all of the Marvel characters and all this stuff, like, because 2.0 is like its own separate release. I think that's going to be big too.
To be perfectly honest with you, I've played Disney Infinity, and it was a neat idea. If they can build a better game around that concept, I would get that.
Yeah, I had to review Disney Infinity, and like I enjoyed it, but I agree with Sean.
What do you think is going to get snubbed, or we're in the chat? They're saying buried. Like somebody mentioned Evolve, and they were sad that Evolve's not coming this holiday, and I said that in the chat.
That would have been buried.
Yeah, I think that I'm glad to see Evolve escape the holiday like avalanche, so to speak. So what's going to not make it?
I don't know.
Go ahead, Roy.
I was just going to say that I'm not. Well, I want to hear what you were going to say for sure. I was going to say that I don't think any of the bigger titles that we know of or that we're kind of looking at are going to kind of get buried, because now the pool has thinned out a little bit, and I don't think they're all really competing for the same people. They're all quite different games, in like Assassin's Creed Unity and Call of Duty and Far Cry. They're just too different. But Sean, what are you thinking?
Alien.
Yeah, I agree.
Alien's going to get annihilated.
That comes out in October, right?
October 7th, it's going to get annihilated.
It will. I'll be picking it up, but I'll agree with that. And I also think Evil Within, then, if we're going to be talking
Evil
about...
Within's going to get annihilated.
I agree, too.
I think that, and again, that's something like I'm interested in both those games, especially
and
Alien.
Here's the thing. I'm hoping Alien has a Wolfenstein kind of...
Tale? Like a tale to it?
Tale, but just like that word of mouth, be like, this game came out of nowhere and it's awesome and it sells really well.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, it's so niche.
Yeah.
It's so niche. Like, I don't see that.
I don't think it's a lot of content, right? I'm getting the impression it's kind of a tight, small package, like Rory. Like, I just think that
Rory's 6'2", dude. Like,
and built to proportion.
Anyways, I think that I think it's going to be a really good game to pick up on with like games with gold or PlayStation Plus or something like that.
I just don't think it's. I think it's it's like such a niche. That first person horror is such a niche that it maybe sell like 2 million.
Yeah,
copies.
it's a really popular thing on like YouTube, but it's not exactly like people aren't exactly buying the shit out of Outlast. You know what I mean? It's just a popular game. Yeah, you're right. There's a difference between it being popular and selling really well.
But here's the other thing with what was the other game that? Oh, Evil Within.
Yeah.
I think that game is going to review poorly.
I think it's going to flop.
That is going to be poorly
I watched
reviewed.
Pete Hines, the lead guy at Bethesda, right? Pete Hines play it, and like he was into it because he had to be. Like he was basically like forced to sit down.
He's our hype man, yeah.
And he didn't actually look like he was enjoying it that much. Like, to be honest, like I don't know. I watched like an hour stream of that, and I was just like, I don't really care.
I wanted to. Here's the funny thing. I went to a preview event 2 E3s ago, and I played. I got to go hands-on with Wolfenstein, and I came out going, "This game's great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Watch, it's gonna be a sleeper hit," and it was right. I went out of. I saw a hands-off demo of Evil Within, and I came away completely underwhelmed. And a year later, people are still underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just me. And I don't think that game, unless that game
you can't delay that
surprises
game.
the shit out of people.
You can't delay that game.
I don't think that game. You
like
can't. No.
It's got to come out. Like they got to get it out of the way because I think Bethesda's going to have a big year next year. Elder Scrolls Online was supposed to come to console this summer, I thought, and it didn't.
Dude, if it wasn't for Wolfenstein, Bethesda would have had a terrible year.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that Wolfenstein did, even though it was a bit of a sleeper hit, I think it probably outperformed what they originally anticipated. Because I don't think they expected people to just come running to Wolfenstein, and I really hope that there's reasonable expectations around Doom. You can't just expect Doom to just fly off shelves just because it's called Doom, because the last few things that had the word Doom attached to it, people didn't really like that much, including the movie. So, you got to like rebuild, people's understanding of what Doom is. And from what I understand, that's doing well. I forgot the elephant in the room that somebody just mentioned in the chat. And Sean, I don't know what you're doing. It sounds like you might be like folding clothes or running or something, but the mic was like all up your nose a second ago. I just want to let you know. GTA is coming out again this year. That's going to do stuff. Like, that's going to get in people's way, I feel like. So, even more so, like, I think the people that are going to get buried are really going to get buried. Like, they were mentioning Borderlands, the pre-sequel, Dragon Age is coming out. All these games, there's so many games that, like, genre-wise, they don't blend, right? They, like, Call of Duty is not going to affect Dragon Age directly, or GTA is not going to affect, Alien Isolation directly. But when you're talking about just fighting for people's wallets, right? Fighting for people's attention span on Black Friday, I think GTA is going to get in a lot of people's way. So, Rory, what do you think of the top 3 selling games this year, just out of the holiday season?
What do I think they'll be?
Yeah.
Well, Sean's labeled 2 of them already, Call of Duty and Destiny. I'm going to agree with that. And
you agree that Destiny's in the top 3?
Oh, easy, for sure, man. There's
nice.
I think it's set, like, I don't know if it was on Amazon or something recently. I was reading an article saying that it's set like a record for the amount of pre-orders in like the history of games or something.
It was for a new IP.
For a new,
I remember that
new
now.
IP.
Gotcha,
I remember
gotcha.
that.
Okay. So that's not as grand as a claim as I thought it was. But
Still
that being
pretty
said, I think that game is going to do huge numbers. There's been a massive marketing push on that for a while. It's still coming. They're going to just keep pumping more money into that marketing, and it's launching basically to what? I mean, how many Xbox Ones and PS3s are out there plus this current gen, right? Like, there's a lot of people that are going to be picking that game up.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty, Destiny, and I will go with Assassin's Creed Unity as my third.
So you think Assassin's Creed Unity on Xbox One and PS4 is going to outsell
Oh,
GTA
shit.
5?
I keep forgetting that's only next gen. Yeah. Okay, shit.
I think GTA 5 is going to do it again this year.
I think you're probably right, but I'll make the bold claim that Assassin's Creed Unity outsells GTA next gen.
I think
that's possible.
I think FIFA is going to be in the top 3.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Good call.
Now, did you hear about this? All right, we don't have time for that. I think that you guys are right as far as Call of Duty and Destiny. I think GTA is going to be number 3. I think it's going to sell.
You think GTA is going to sell more than FIFA?
Well,
You're crazy.
he said next gen, but I guess you have a point, because it's a new entry. Like FIFA comes out in like a couple weeks, right?
If we're talking just next gen, then we can reevaluate our list.
Yeah, no,
well, even if it wasn't
season.
just next gen, I just don't like. I mean, how many are people really still waiting on GTA 5? Like, I'm just curious.
They don't need to be waiting. They can upgrade.
Well, I'm just saying. Oh, there's going to be an upgrade program?
No, I'm just saying, like, your GTA Online stuff carries over. Like, people are going to make the jump for a game like GTA and Call of Duty. Like, when you have the offering that is coming out this year, that is definitely a game that people are going to pick up when they make the jump from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, or from PS3 to PS4, or whatever.
Yeah, it's true, and that's cool. I didn't really think about the all the online progress and everything just like carries over into the next gen game. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, all right, so that game sold like hotcakes last year, like hotcakes that were on fire that had like sex inside them. Like,
It's
that
insane.
game sold insane. You have so many people that have played that game, and you got to imagine that a good portion of them have at least played a little bit of the online. So a year later, if they're looking at upgrading, why not buy that game? Like, why not buy one of the best games of the last generation? I just don't see it not selling. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that it's not going to sell. So I feel like it's
going to
do
sell
really
a lot.
well.
But top 3, it's like, ooh, I don't know.
I think
FIFA.
FIFA is going to put out in the top 3.
Yeah, you might be right. That's a good point. I didn't even think about like the sports and shit and like all that. Like, because I wanted
FIFA's
to think
one of the
it.
number 1 selling games. It outsells Madden. It outsells.
Yeah,
everything.
it was the last PS2 game.
Well, it's the most popular sport in the world, guys. Come on.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
For no good reason.
It's motherfucking Space Olympics. All right, well, that's enough time. enough of us padding a whole episode. Good job, everybody.
That was
solid. We had a good conversation.
Yeah, I felt good.
We had a good conversation with no news.
Yeah, let's go hang out later. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been Rated M for Podcast. You can always tune in live on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Rated M for Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Rated M Podcast. Please review us on iTunes. Even if you don't use iTunes, you can still go to iTunes and review us. Subscribe on Stitcher Radio, on iTunes, on everything. Somebody put us on Windows Phone, so we're everywhere. You can go find us. Also, check out our community on Facebook if you want to kind of link up with us and play games. We do lots of giveaways and lots of game nights and crazy shit going on. I think we have Titanfall coming at the end of the month. And that is at facebook.com/groups/ratedmpodcast. That's right. Yeah, I had to think about that for a minute.
You got it.
Yeah. So to get links to everything, just check out our Twitch page. There's links to everything, YouTube, all that stuff. We're live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that is it. Everybody drop your Twitter handles. Go. Sean, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at N2 and other. The letter N, the number 2, the letter N, the word other all together. I'm going to drop it in the chat.
I just did it.
Okay. You did that. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. I got to bounce.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Sean. Rory, what's your Twitter handle, yo?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Red Eye Games Live. I was going to drop that into the thing there, too, and I misspelled myself. I misspelled it too. So yeah, at Twitter.
Oh, good job.
Or at Twitter. Oh, good God. On Twitter at Red Eye Games Live, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Twitch as well at twitch.tv/Red Eye Games Live. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. Lots of new content, and daily streams will be taking off at the beginning of September as well. So come hang out there.
Hell yeah.
Dropping that.
And you know where to find me in the streets. You can check me out at drewfreeman.squarespace.com. That's the best way to find all the crazy shit that I do. Also, all of the past episodes of this fine show and others. And also, follow me on Twitter at Drew_Freeman85. And we're going to have a great old time on the internets. Thanks, everybody.